Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, Governor Greg Abbott outlines how Texas will support Israel.
The Texas third special session features COVID-19 vaccines, school vouchers, and border security.
And in Victoria, a man faces 4 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Pretty quiet on the outside. Live view from Cuero, courtesy of the site there. Cloudy skies, quiet now. Tomorrow, here comes the rain. I'll give you the details coming up at the forecast.
And we've got some big matchups coming up this week in CFL. I'll have that coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now after Monday Night Football. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. We begin tonight with the developing situation in the Middle East. Israel retaliating in Gaza for the deadly surprise attacks by Hamas that killed more than 900 Israelis.
More than 500 Palestinians in Gaza have also been killed. It's a conflict not seen in that region in 50 years.
Massive blasts rocking the Gaza Strip, with Israel Defense Forces continuing their barrage, huge plumes of black smoke filling the sky. Israeli officials saying in just a 3-hour span Monday, they struck 130 targets in the area, saying they will continue to fight Hamas terrorists as long as necessary for the sake of the residents of the state of Israel. They also plan to blockade Gaza, keeping fuel, food, and electricity out. This mosque in Gaza also hit by Israeli strikes. Palestinians seen crying as the injured are rushed to the hospital. This all comes after the militant group Hamas launched a surprise assault on Israel Saturday, the 50th anniversary of the Yom Kippur War. More than 2,200 rockets launched as armed Hamas militants also raided towns, going door to door, executing innocent people. At an Israeli music festival in Negev, rescue workers say 260 bodies were removed from the desert.
It's really living hell. Never seen something like this. I've been in 2 wars in my life and never seen anything like this. Bodies all places for the slaughter. They didn't care if you are a man or a woman, you are young or old man. They're killers, they're murderers.
Israeli officials say dozens who were not killed were kidnapped instead and taken to Gaza as hostages, including this Jewish grandmother.
I'm sure she's very scared, and I'm sure she feels very alone. And that's not a way to live when you're 85. They're being taken away from your bed, from your house.
Thousands have been injured so far in both Gaza and Israel, hundreds killed in both areas. The White House saying at least 11 Americans have died in Israel. U.S. Embassy staff now under a curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. and banned from going on any personal travel to the West Bank. And as the IDF continues to lay siege to Gaza, a Hamas spokesman saying if the shelling continues without warning, they will begin executing Israeli hostages one by one. Inez de la Cuetara, ABC News, Tel Aviv, Israel.
On the first day of the special session, state representatives spoke out in support of Israel. Governor Greg Abbott directed state DPS to work with local and federal agencies on increased safety measures to protect the Jewish community in Texas. The governor also sending $4 million in grant funding to 31 Jewish organizations for security enhancements and measures. And Governor Abbott directs all state agencies to stop buying goods produced coming from the Gaza.
An executive order prohibiting any state agency in Texas from purchasing anything produced in or exported from the Gaza Strip. Or from purchasing anything produced in or exported from any organization or state actor with ties to Hamas.
Earlier this evening, Governor Abbott, along with his wife and other state, local, and faith leaders, gathered at the Dell Jewish Community Campus in Austin in a solidarity gathering for Israel.
But at the Texas state capitol, a group supporting Palestinians rallied Sunday, more than a day after the group launched its attack on Israel. An organizer says while they were surprised by the attack and condemned the loss of life, they believe Israel instigated the attacks. The group says Israel has suppressed Palestinians for years, occupying more Palestinian land and denying them rights. More than 1,200 people have died since the attack began. Stay with CrossroadsToday.com as we follow the unrest in the Middle East.
47-year-old Aurelio Gutierrez Jr. arrested in Victoria County Sunday night. Gutierrez charged with 4 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. He is in the Victoria County Jail in lieu of $75,000 bond.
43-year-old Alexandria Aisha Edwards of San Antonio arrested by Hallettsville police over the weekend. It was a traffic stop in the 600 block of West Fairwinds that resulted in the recovery of a pistol and a usable amount of cocaine. Edwards charged for unlawful carry of a weapon and cocaine possession. She's in the Lavaca County Jail in lieu of a $20,000 bond on the drug charge. Tammy Murphy of Victoria, named by Governor Greg Abbott to the University of Houston System Board of Regents. Murphy works alongside her husband, David, operating 3 Chick-fil-A restaurants in Victoria. She's a member of the UHV Victoria College of Business Deans Advisory Board, and she earned a Bachelor's of Science in Business Administration from UHV.
At least 5 earthquakes occurred in Texas on Monday, one of them reported at a 4.0 magnitude in Nordheim. KXAN reports the United States Geological Survey says another earthquake occurred about 30 miles west of Nordheim in Falls City. That was a magnitude 3.5. Let's take a first look at your forecast. In for First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Mac Pettis, here is meteorologist Trey Meinig. And Trey, you are very certain that we're going to get some more rain tomorrow.
Exactly. Very confident about that. It's going to come on through. Give us a good soaking. Not seeing any severe weather really, but some of those could be on the heavy side, so watch weather developments tomorrow. Currently on the outside of Victoria, 69 degrees, 10-mile visibility. The humidity beginning to increase ahead of the rainfall, 81% already, southerly winds near 5 to 10 miles per hour. Temperature is nice for the overall. Rain chance tomorrow. When's the next cool front headed our way? I'll let you know that coming up later on in the full forecast. Back to you guys.
Trey, thank you. Matagorda County commissioners lifted the burn ban in that county Monday morning. That county's drought level has remained under 600 for more than 5 days after last week's rain. The burn ban was put in at Matagorda County June 28th.
Fights over school vouchers or school choice, border security measures, and expanding COVID-19 mandate bans to the private sector, they're all on the agenda for the Texas legislature's 3rd special session today. Governor Greg Abbott spent time this year pushing for initiatives regarding school choice, which would allow Texas parents to use public education funds to help pay for tuition for private or charter schools.
That's right. Abbott says this is to allow families flexibility in choosing the best education for their children, whereas opponents say it will take away critical funding from public schools. Now, along the lines of border security, Abbott's agenda referenced Colony Ridge, a residential and north of Houston that conservatives claim harbors undocumented migrants. Another item on the agenda is a bill prohibiting private employers from requiring a COVID-19 vaccine.
The Biden administration moving forward with border wall construction in Starr County. The 20-mile wall will be 18 feet high. The Biden administration has waived 26 federal laws to allow for building the wall. The proposed project also will include light poles and lighting gates, plus fiber optic and closed circuit TV cameras.
Attorney General Ken Paxton said Monday he plans to file criminal complaints against the group of state representatives who led the impeachment trial against him. The Texas Tribune reports Paxton is filing charges for releasing his personal information. The 12 House representatives being targeted by Paxton led the impeachment trial in the Senate. Paxton accused the House impeachment managers of violating a new state law with an October 2nd release of documents related to the case.
Tri-City Empowerment Council plans to celebrate 75 years of Dale School this weekend. The Tri-City Empowerment Council will host its 2nd annual Gospel Fest this Saturday after the Turkey Fest parade in Cuero. The school opened in 1892 and served as the first colored school in Cuero. Viola Holman and the council acquired the Dole Schools property for a whopping $10. Now the council plans to turn the building into a youth recreation center. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell so you can get Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10. A Colorado dentist accused of killing his wife was in court Monday.
Also ahead, how the war in the Middle East could impact gas prices. More on this straight ahead.
Just getting word from ABC News that President Biden says it's likely Americans are among the hostages of Hamas. He says he will address the nation about this crisis tomorrow at noon.
That's right. And in Colorado, a dentist accused of killing his wife by poisoning her was in court Monday. James Tolliver Craig pleaded not guilty to charges of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. He is accused of lacing his wife's protein shakes with arsenic last March. Angela Craig died at a hospital after she suffered severe headaches and dizziness. Court documents show Craig made a number of internet searches in the weeks leading up to her death, including how to make poison. Craig is currently being held without bond and is not allowed to have contact with his 6 children. Older adults in the U.S. still make up the majority of hospitalizations from COVID-19. A new CDC report shows that adults 65 and older accounted for about 63% of all COVID-19 hospitalizations and 61% of intensive care unit admissions. Older adults also made up 88% of in-hospital deaths from the virus. Now, according to the report, nearly all had at least one underlying condition. The report also found that roughly 3/4 of the older patients were not up to date on their COVID vaccinations.
And here's your viewer poll. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote. Here's the question: do you plan to get a flu shot and updated COVID-19 booster this fall? The choices were yes, COVID-19 booster, yes, flu shot, yes, both, no to both. And the selection has the most votes, 53
To both,
saying yes to both. We thank you for voting, and we want to hear your opinion. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part. Well, the war between Israel and Hamas raising crude oil prices, and there are growing concerns those soaring costs could soon reach gas pumps here in the U.S.
Yeah, it comes as drivers are finally seeing lower prices after a busy summer season.
An escalating conflict overseas, impacting crude oil prices, rattling global stocks. And raising concerns here at home that prices at U.S. gas pumps could soon soar.
If the theater of war gets expanded from Israel and the Gaza to other parts of the Middle East, you could see some real impact.
While Israel is not a major oil producer, prolonged tensions in the Middle East could trigger global investors in the long term, fearing the conflict could spread further and impact the fragile global economic recovery. And analysts say that's especially worrisome if oil producer Iran becomes actively involved in the conflict.
It really could alter the calculus for oil supplies and prices coming out of that region that exports about 20 million barrels a day to the rest of the world.
As of Monday afternoon, the average price for a gallon of regular gasoline in the United States was $3.70. According to AAA, that's 11 cents below a week ago. Analyst Tom Kloza says despite the war, the impact isn't going to trickle down to consumers right away. And more relief for drivers is actually on the way.
For the next 60 days, you're going to see gasoline prices become much more palatable. You're going to see disinflation for gasoline.
The conflict comes as gas prices in the United States are falling significantly as demand drops off and the industry uses cheaper winter blends to sell to consumers. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Robert Kennedy Jr., whose family name is synonymous with the Democratic Party, today announced he is running for president as an independent. Kennedy primarily worked as an environmental lawyer and more recently as an opponent of vaccines.
Something is stirring in us that says it doesn't have to be this way. People stop me everywhere at airports, at hotels and malls, on the street, and they remind me that this country is ready for a history-making change. They are ready to reclaim their freedom, their independence. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here to declare myself an independent candidate.
At a rally in Philadelphia, Kennedy vowed to unite the country.
California reported to be the first state to ban some potentially harmful chemicals typically found in candy, drinks, and food. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed the California Food Safety Act. It prohibits the manufacture, sale, or distribution of food products containing red dye number 3, potassium bromate, and brominated vegetable oil. The new law will not be put into effect until 2027. Some groups oppose the plan, saying it will undermine consumer confidence and create confusion over food safety.
Okay, I'll take a little review here of the weather in Victoria today. High was 79 degrees, low 59 degrees, below normal on both counts are high and low. Rainfall, we're still under over 4 to almost 5 inches of rain we need, and we'll get some rainfall tomorrow. Yes, that's helping that total somewhat. How much can we expect, and what about the next cool front? We'll tell you that coming up after the break. And good evening, everyone. Trey Mining here. And looking at the first warn Doppler radar, it is totally clear on the outside, radar-wise it is, not the skies, but the radar. But tomorrow, this will be full of precipitation everywhere you go, encompassing the whole area. Some of that could be a little bit on the heavy side, so watch weather developments. Not anticipating anything severe or anything of that nature, but a good soaking rain overall. But some heavy spots could be the case. As we look at temperatures currently in the 60s to low to mid 70s everywhere you go, from the coast, Seadrift, to Victoria in the area, up to the north, Yoakum, toward Hallisville and Gonzales. And looking at the satellite radar composite, a lot of clouds in Mexico spilling in the state of Texas. This is the cloud cover from a hurricane that's making landfall, Lydia in Mexico. Show you that here shortly. And rain beginning to move into the Laredo area. Already now south of Corpus Christi, they'll be filling our area coming up with the rainfall in the morning time, about 6 a.m. or so, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Then encompassing the whole area as we go through the entire day tomorrow, so keep your umbrellas handy. Future temperatures starting in the 70s, of course, 50s, actually 60s coming up in the overnight, and then a little bit cooler as we get toward your day on Friday as the front comes down from the north, giving us another little cool spell of air like we had over the weekend. Going to feel very nice yet again, very fall-like. And here's a hurricane. If you're tracking on your chart, there's the coordinates there, and it's moving to the north and northeast, making landfall to the west of Acapulco, Mexico, and the moisture trail coming along with that will be skirting the Texas coast coming up for your day tomorrow, giving us good rainfall chances, but moving fairly quickly toward Louisiana. By the time we get to Wednesday, it'll be well to our east, a little bit of a drying trend after that, and then here comes the front coming down from the north, and giving us cool conditions just in time for the weekend. Looking forward to that. Also, we need the rainfall and cool weather. They're coming this week, so that should be happy for everybody. Looking at the rainfall totals coming up, half an inch to a quarter of an inch to work toward the next several days down the road. Some of these could be a little bit on the heavy side in some isolated areas, so watch weather developments. Put alert day in just for that as a reminder. For Port Lavaca, cloudy skies for your day tomorrow all day long, with rain chances coming in the morning, and highs only in the 70s, that's it. And up in Cuero, about the same, cloudy skies. Rain increasing as we head toward the mid to 12 noon hour, toward 4 o'clock later in the evening. Highs in the 70s, of course. Keep your umbrellas handy and be careful out there. Extended forecast for us. Good solid 80% chance of rain for your day tomorrow. Definitely need that. It's going to be a soaker. 50% chance coming up for your Wednesday in the morning time. Things clear out. Front comes through on Friday. Almost 90 degrees on Friday. Then we cool down to the 70s with low humidity coming up for Saturday and Sunday into Monday. Looking forward to that. It's going to be a very nice day and the weekend time frame that is. Rain chance tomorrow. Be careful out there. There could be some ponding on some of the local roads. And take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see right there. That'll take you to a web page. You can download our app, have all news, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Take it with you and be informed all as we go throughout the next several days, of course, and through your time period. Be careful out there tomorrow in the rain. Zach?
Thank you, Trey. Well, the Dallas Cowboys fall again to the Niners. I'll have that coming up in sports. The Texas Rangers moved to 2-0 in their series. The Astros did not have the same luck, but a former Astro had a night, and that's Carlos Correa, who just missed a homer, but it got Minnesota on the board first in the first inning. In the second inning, a 2-run shot. That's when Minnesota took total control from that point on. They get the win 6-2. Game 3 will be tomorrow at 3:07 in Minnesota. Huge measuring stick on the road for the Dallas Cowboys last night in San Fran, and they did not measure up very well. The Niners led from the word go, winning 42-10. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns on the evening, and Dak Prescott, 3 interceptions on his evening. Dak was tied for the league lead last year. Despite missing a handful of games, he's now thrown 4 picks on the year, which leads us to your viewer poll. Are you concerned about the Dallas Cowboys after last night? Yes or no? 62% of you say yes. 38% of you say no. The 38% must not have watched the same game the rest of us did, but maybe they'll bounce back against the Chargers. And speaking of some pretty good games, we haven't quite decided on our game of the week for CFL, but I can tell you who it probably will be, and that is the Edna Cowboys and the Industrial Cobras in the Lavaca River Showdown. With a win, Edna can clinch a playoff spot, while Industrial fighting to get back to the postseason. Last year, Edna won handily, but Industrial at home this year looking for that home field advantage and that trophy. The Bloomington Bobcats, fresh off its first district win in nearly 10 years, looking for their second straight win. They play host to the Ganado Indians. Ganado has been great this year, sitting at 5-1 and undefeated in district play. If Bloomington can pull off the upset, they might be having other conversations about where their season can go. Coach Krause and his Bobcats know that. Practice was very intense today as they try to remain disciplined. The Bluebonnet Youth Ranch fundraiser was this afternoon. This year they called it the Claude B. Jacobs Memorial Golf Tournament in honor of Jacobs, who passed earlier this year. The Bluebonnet Youth Ranch is a special project supported by people who are concerned about the increasing cycle of child abuse. The event took place at the club at Colony Creek and featured 88 golfers. The team of James Brown, Brian Azell, Donald McAfee, and Roger Atkinson took first place honors in a tiebreaker. That's it for your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Zach. Stay with us. Coming up next on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather with Trey, plus a camera company holding a competition for $1 million if you can catch aliens on camera. Police officers pledge to serve and protect, and sometimes that means protecting small critters too. On Thursday, officers from Nassau County Police Department were called to assist with a cat who somehow got his head stuck in a chain link fence. Officers borrowed a bolt cutter from a nearby neighbor, and they were able to gently cut the fence around the cat.
When we got here, it was crying a little bit. You know, I'm an animal guy, so we pulled on the heartstrings a little bit. So we tried to get it out as quick as we could.
Officers were able to get the scared feline free with no injury.
E.T. phone me. The truth could be out there, maybe even on your doorstep. If you can prove it, you could win $1 million. The doorbell camera company Ring is holding a competition. It's asking people to capture evidence of extraterrestrial life on their Ring devices, of course. The company says a space expert will review submissions to look for proof. Skeptics can win too. Ring is also offering a $500 Amazon gift card for the most creative fake. Now, wait a minute. If you're giving money away for a fake, then how can you prove that the $1 million one is real? I'm confused.
That's the
there.
pickle. That's the pickle. But I mean, I think I would give it a go for a 500 Amazon gift card.
Excellent.
Right?
Yes, of course you would. Of course you
Yeah.
would.
Yeah,
It'd be
and
fun.
probably with our luck, with my luck, we'd get that on our Ring on Halloween night, and it'd be a fake anyway, because somebody dressed up like a, you know, of course it'd be tough to look around for an E.T. tomorrow. A lot of clouds in the sky.
That's right.
Well, whether you're from this earth or you're not from this earth, you're probably going to get wet tomorrow. Not probably, you will get wet if you stay outside long enough. And rain chance tomorrow, 80% coming in from the west to east across the crossroads in the morning. So no severe weather expected, but be careful out there. It's going to be a good soaking rain. Ending on Wednesday, and then here comes the cool, nice air again by the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, high 70s, and low humidity. Get out and enjoy it then.
All right, Trey, thank you. And finally tonight, Tuesday is a day to celebrate a delicious art form. It's National Cake Decorating Day. I knew this story would take the cake. Anyway, a dessert dating back for centuries is being celebrated with a modern twist. Decorated cakes carry out the theme for many of life's key celebrations, from birthdays to weddings and beyond.
Of course.
October 10th is a day to thank your favorite cake decorator, whether it's using icing or buttercream or fondant, or as I call it, fondant. Cake decorators have many ways to express their edible art. And that's the icing on the cake.
That's the icing on the cake.
For tonight. As we
I'll
look
take a
forward
slice
to-
of that.
I have a cake
yeah,
for breakfast tomorrow.
I'll take two, yes.
Yeah, that's right. All righty, well, thank you, Dawn, and thank you, Trey, and thank you for joining us for 25 News Now after Monday Night Football.
Yes, that was a good game, I think.
Yeah, that was good.
Did anybody get a chance to watch it? We were so busy. We're always so busy doing this
We gotta
stuff.
ask. We gotta ask Zach. Zach will probably know.
Zach would probably
would know,
know.
yes.
And what? By the way, I forgot to ask you, Trey. When do you expect us to get some rain?
Well, starting probably a little bit after sunrise tomorrow, encompassing the whole area tomorrow through the afternoon hours, ending early in the morning on Wednesday.
All
Yeah,
right,
looking
very
forward
good.
to it.
Thank you, Trey. And joining Carolina Astrain, meteorologist Parker Cox. 25 News Now Sunrise starting at 5 a.m. Good night, everybody.